Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 93. Betrayal. Griffin's point of view. Hey, guess what, guys? So long as I take it easy, Nadine agreed to let me out of the hospital bed. That's great. Well, other than I'm still... Gilda replied sheepishly. She really was happy, but given the situation she was in for at least another 2 weeks, things would be a bit harder on her now that I'm up and about. Well, I still don't have a wing, which Gearman and Steelhorn have apparently been working on some kind of special design. But it isn't ready yet, so unfortunately I'm pretty much stuck on the ship until they get that finished. I lifted my existing wing into the air, stretched it out, and ran my claw along the inside edge, straightening some feathers out. I moved to do the other side, had a sad, oh yeah, moment, and then folded it back in. Well, I guess you'll be wanting to take command again, Gilda said, a little bit of disappointment in her voice, actually. Time for that pleasant smirk. Nah, I'm nowhere near ready for that. Besides, you did a good job, and it takes a lot off my mind so I can work on other things. So pretty much until you're ready to give it up. I slapped one of those triangular pirate hats on her head, with one of my own feathers sticking out of it. Where did I get the hat? From Pinkie Pie's time on board, she stashed a number of nautical hats on board, in case she ever decided there was a hat emergency. I just happened to find one, sitting in an air duct where she thought nobody would find it. I mean, why bother when she has hammer space? Actually, I think that's how she did it, because I could have sworn there was no hat there until I wanted one. More likely she just put an entrance to her pocket dimension in an inconspicuous location. And now I'm rambling. Anyway, I found the hat, put one of my feathers in it, and put it on her head. You get to stay captain. I gave her a quick nuzzle, since we still haven't figured out whether or not it's even possible to kiss with beaks, especially since ours are 2 different sizes. And now I'm rambling on biology too. Did you know griffins have teeth? It's like our heads are human with a beak stuck over the mouth and nose, and a longer tongue. There's lips and everything. If we didn't have that, we'd only be capable of squawks and whistles. In fact, we make a full vocal range without moving our beaks at all. And I keep losing my train of thought because I've been all locked up in the medical ward for way too long. Anyway, I went inside and grabbed a snack of banana yogurt, brushed my beak and teeth, took a quick shower, and then headed down to the training room. Which, considering everyone trained on deck or in their own rooms unless it was something particularly big or dangerous, it was empty with the exception of Surprise, who was teaching her pair of shadow mice some tricks. Surprise? Why are there 2 Whiskers now?
Well, Whiskers looked like he was getting bored and needed a friend, so I made another one. I call him Munchkin. I thought that I could start a little shadow mousey circus, so I've been teaching them tricks.
How she could tell the difference between the 2, I have no idea. Anyways, I was trying to find something out, but I just couldn't seem to get it to work. I thought, well, Pegasi and Griffins use their feathers to move air currents. If they didn't, there's no way our wings could lift us given their size compared to our weight. So I started working on something, and I got stuck. So I was wondering if I could see your wings.
Not without a date and dinner first, silly.
What? Oh, jeez. What I mean is I want to examine the airflow around them.
Okie dokie pokey.
Shouldn't it be Loki? Oh, right, not Pinkie Pie. I had her stand in the middle of the room, close her eyes, and then took out a cloud I had one of the other griffins grab, one of the really wispy ones, and put it around her wings. I watched as all the cloud above them was pulled down below, where it then stayed in a neat little pocket of air. A couple of times I moved the cloud on top, and it just followed back under. Then I tried the same thing with my wing, and the same thing happened. Alright. Yeah. Thanks, Surprise. I think I get it now.
Alrighty. Glad glad you're walking around. Once you're totally out of the doctor's sights,
She aimed her hoof like it was a gun.
I'll throw a party for you.
Actually, here's the thing. I met Gilda a while ago, and I learned when her birthday was after it had passed. And she's been doing so much lately, I was thinking we could throw her a surprise party on Signal. But that's the thing. We can't let her know about it. October 13th. 2 weeks on Friday. I'm not really sure how to do it, so think I can leave it to you? She gave me a salute so hard she thwacked herself on the head with her hoof, causing her eyes to roll around a bit before they settled straight.
You got it. It'll be the biggest, bestest, totally not a birthday party for Gilda that I'm trying to keep secret. Oh, and no pranks, just cake, punch, and fun.
Good. Get to it. With that, she left in a rather perky mood. Partially, I just wanted her out of the training room, but for the most part, I really did want to throw Gilda a party. Now for my experiment. Steelhorn's point of view. Just a nice quiet day with a good bottle of whiskey. Relaxing on the deck, eh, Shimmer? You said it. The young dragon had taken a drinking with me. I figure she's old enough. Besides, this is a pirate ship. Everyone drinks now and then, with a lot of emphasis on the now. I'm just glad the captain's been quiet, resting up and not doing nothing to keep me busy. It's a good thing being able to relax. Maybe if he had done it more often, he wouldn't turn into a crazy bastard at the gala. Forcing him to rest may have been the best bit of good that's happened to him since he got it. Oh, hell. He was let out today, wasn't he? Young Dragoness Youngling just nodded sagely. I lumbered down to where I knew he'd be, that blasted training room, and spotted him standing in the doorway, waving the smoke away with his wing, his entire left side blackened by virtue of having singed his feathers and fur. Still, there wasn't any fire, but I got no idea why he had that big stupid grin on his face, that despite having been at the center of an explosion, he was proud enough to smile. And that was a small one, he called far too merrily from the hole. I shook my head, grabbed him by his rear leg, and then dragged him back to the medical bay and threw him in his bed. Then I turned to Nadine. Listen, lass, he tries to get up again before the next 2 weeks, you knock him out. I don't care if it's with a needle or a frying pan. She rolled her eyes and gave a hoof at Griff, who was, I've heard, ain't captain no more by his own choosing. Then I left the room and went back to the scene of the crime to assess the damage. Well, it wasn't too bad, other than that there was a 2-foot wide hole in the hardwood floor that had been burned right through, and everything around was black, except for a distinctly griffin-shaped spot that was clean as a whistle. I don't know what he did in there, and I don't think I want to. Knew I should have gone with the linoleum. I turned to look at the hole. Or maybe concrete. It'd be too heavy to fly, but at least I wouldn't get holes blown in every week. I built this ship to be damn near impervious to attacks from the outside. I was never expecting the biggest danger to be coming from its passengers. That Griffin's gonna be the death of me. Couldn't he have made up magic for fixing stuff rather than breaking it? You, Unicorn, I don't care what your name is. Fix this hole or find one of you that can. Otherwise I'm gonna have to replace the whole bloody floor. He gave me a salute and pointed his horn at the hole, causing it to begin sailing up. Should have got them on here ages ago. Griffin's point of view. I let you walk around freely for what? A day? And you go and blow yourself up. Nadine said as she angrily scrubbed my hide of any dirt or grime that had gotten into it from the explosion. Yeah, but the experiment was a success. I just wasn't expecting the loss of containment is all. Taken care of easily enough. Easily enough off the ship. I don't care what you do off the ship, but while you're on it, it's my job to keep you in one piece. And if doing that means giving you a few lumps on the head, then I guess you'll have a lumpy skull till you smarten up. Yes, mother, I said sarcastically. Suddenly she jumped right on my bed and straddled me, looking right in my eyes. She was pissed off as is, and now she looked to be fuming. I can make you cry for your mother if you want me to, she said with a sadistic grin. No, thanks. I think I'm good. Jeez, is she on PMS or something? Nice, kitty? I began scratching behind her ears, and even though one of them had apparently gotten nicked in a fight, she seemed to enjoy it, to the point of collapsing into my feathers and purring. Okay. Awkward. Wait. Mood swings. Bitchy, then overly squishy? Are you in heat or something? She turned and looked at me with a scowl, then relented. I miss Mango Jack. Who the hell was that? Should I know him? Could he give me some mangoes? Okay. Definitely in heat. Yeah, I'm not turning human anytime soon, so you can just forget about it. Why is it you cats seem to like humans anyway? You went nuts when Owie was here, and I could see all the other cats looking at me. Heck, even the guys were. Although they at least tried to make it seem like they weren't. She stopped for a moment, thinking as she considered telling me. She stood at the side of the bed with one finger in her paw hand to her chin, then shrugged. The smell. The smell? Something with the smell. Kind of like catnip. So, humans smell like catnip. No, they don't smell like catnip. But the effect is the same. Euphoria, silliness, lowered inhibitions. Okay, then. So basically every time I went human, your body took a hormone order of a large silly with a side of lust. Nice to know. Guess I won't be going human around any more cats. Who's Mango Jack anyway? Oh. He's a nice guy who passed through not too long before you did. But before that asshole came and took over. He was really nice. Cute. We hung out a bit. He was going off on an adventure, and I couldn't leave the village at that time. I really wanted to go with him. Well, who knows? Maybe you'll meet him again. Anyways, if you're in heat, how are you going to handle it? Gilda went pretty bonkers there for a little while, but she seemed to be able to control herself with a little bit of help. Well, I have some help of my own. She reached into one of her pouches and pulled out a bag of leaves, rolled them into a piece of paper, lit it, and started to smoke it. What the... Catnip? Yeah. Humans give the loopy and the horny, catnip gives the loopy, and then the calm. Can I have one of your feathers? Okay. I reached over with my beak and pulled out one of my secondaries, then gave it to her, which she then proceeded to tickle herself with it. And here I thought tickling yourself was impossible. Should you be smoking in the medical bay? It's only you and me in here. Who cares? What if there's an emergency? I already got all the potions made up, and the gearheads know what to do with them. Oh! She then began rolling around on the floor, batting on the feather to keep it in the air. All I could do at that point is raise an eyebrow at how adorably kitten-like she was acting. Well, until I got some of the smoke. Curse my half-feline body. What happened that night did not go any further than cuddling. A bird cat cuddling a cat woman with super soft feathers and fur. We pretty much spent hours high just petting each other and commenting on how soft the other was, or how good their claws felt scratching behind the ears, or along the spine, or in that little one spot there's always there, but you can never get yourself. Also, griffins can apparently get high on catnip. It's a good thing Gilda didn't come in at that moment. Except that she did. And while the fumes were still hanging in the air at that. Well, the next morning I woke up, no longer high on catnip, in my own room with both Gilda and Nadine in my bed. Surprisingly, Gilda between the two of us, one of us laying on each other's wings. Now my memory of that night was a bit hazy, but I distinctly remember one scene of me laying next to Gilda, with Nadine atop the two of us like a pyramid. I have no idea who had sex with who. or even if it happened at all. Hey, Gilda, Nadine, wake up. They both grumbled, so I did the only thing to do in this situation. Grab the sheets and pull them out from under them.
Griff, what the hell?
Gilda yelled. I am seriously freaking out right now. Okay, so I was in the hospital room. Nadine smoked catnip. It got me high. You came in, got high too. We all snuggled for a while. And then you were laying on the two of us, and we wound up in my room. I'm really confused.
Yeah, that about sums it up. What's the big deal?
Did we have sex? I then turned to Nadine. Did we have sex? Did you two have sex with each other? I don't remember anything past the cuddling bit. We could have some major problems.
Quit worrying about it. If we did, we did. If we didn't, we didn't.
And you're not the least bit upset that I may have slept with Nadine.
1, you're fine with my history. I don't see why not. 2, if you did, it was a threesome. With me. It's totally okay, just chill.
Right. I'm used to strictly monogamous relationships, and before coming here, I never even got a girl. Griffin and pony gender racials are way skewed. D-dogs are the other way. Dragons and cats, I don't even know, although they seem to be about even from what I've seen. You're right. I need to calm down. No, Griff, you didn't sleep with me. Nadine finally got up from the floor by my yelling. I've used catnip a lot in the past, and while it makes me loopy, it partially kills my drive. I don't know how it affects Griffins, but I was lucid the entire time, and while the two of you did it, I kind of wanted in on it, but was content to just cuddle, especially since she was ready to gouge my eyes out if I interrupted. That stuff made you go a bit out of it, but it made her right bonkers in the sack. Is it a threesome if one just watches? Anyways, after you were both exhausted, I cuddled up in bed with the two of you, and then we slept. That's a relief. Well, that's a bit less worrisome, although Gilda is still in heat. I don't know how likely it is, but I don't want any more risk of you getting pregnant. So I think it would be best if you only smoked catnip in a private place. Since I'm not allowed to run tests in the training room and nobody else uses it, we could turn it into a smoking area. At which point Nadine glomped me.
Oh, thank you. It had really been forever since I had a good smoke, and I tried to quit after I left the village, but it's what I always used to deal with the hormones. Having a place to smoke would make it a lot easier to cope, for me and all the other cats. Still? Are you that adverse to letting me join in sometime?
Don't know?
I'm okay with it.
Gilda shrugged and turned to look at me.
What? I am. You're okay with my history and even my decision to go to Nadine or Trixie with my problem. And don't think I haven't seen how you tense up when you're around me. You're dying for it too. If you're really serious about not getting me pregnant, then you know who you need to do.
What?
Either screw around with Nadine once in a while so she doesn't need the catnip, or risk getting high on it and screwing me and getting me pregnant. We both know it wouldn't mean anything. It would just be a friend helping a friend.
Then what about you? You'd still be missing out.
Well, if you did it with Nadine, I wouldn't feel nearly so bad about it.
So, wait. You're telling me to fuck Nadine to make it okay for you to do it?
Basically. Yes, I do know the only real reason I was able to sleep with you for the first time was getting you drunk.
You planned that?
Mm-hmm. If it helps, we can get you drunk again.
And this time?
I may have mentioned it to Nadine that getting you high might help. Then she told me that it kills her drive, but was willing to try anyways, seeing as how you become a sex fiend when you're under the influence.
Those manipulative little... So, you planned to get me high so I'd screw Nadine while I'm out of my mind, so that the three of us could relieve sexual tension. And the first time around, you actually planned on getting me drunk so you could take advantage of me. Well, you could have very easily hurt my feelings in regards to that. You know what else? You're right. You're both right. As long as neither of you are hurt by it. Gilda knows I still belong to her, and Nadine knows I'm just helping her out as a friend. If it'll get you both off my back to the point of trying to drug me so I'll relax enough to stop being a stick in the mud and screw around, fine. I will fuck Nadine, and I will enjoy it, because she is an adorable kitty who is also sexy as hell. And the only reason I haven't done this before was because I was worried about how you'd feel about it. And I'm a social outcast who can't so much as talk to a girl coherently about how I feel about them without being drugged up. So yeah, that makes it totally okay to get me drunk or high just so you can sleep with me and open the way for sober sex. How sarcastic was this explanation? To quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, it was as if 1,000 scouters cried out in pain and were suddenly silenced. Griff, Gilda started, but I cut her off with a death glare as I felt tears starting in the corners of my eyes. So sorry for taking your feelings into account. Because where I'm from, when someone sleeps with their partner's friends, it leads to the two of them hating each other. And they all wind up with a Maury show to find out whether or not the guy is really the parent of their bastard child. And if he isn't, he never stays another word to the girl. And if he is, he's stuck hating the kid because he now has to pay child support. And either way, his partner hates him because he broke their trust. And the relationship breaks apart anyway. And then everybody hates each other. Then the kid has to put up with the parents who never stop yelling at each other. Having a half-brother out there somewhere he's never even met, all because his father is a raging drunk who can't keep his dick in his pants long enough to think where it'll lead him, or how someone else might feel. I finished my rant, stormed out of the room, laid with my back against the hallway wall, and cried my fucking eyes out.
Griff?
Go away!
Griff, seriously. You're scaring me.
I said fuck off!
And as captain, I order you to tell me what the fuck is wrong with you.
She said as she slapped me across the face. That snapped me out of it. I stopped crying, stopped curling up, stopped everything. That was when I turned around and punched her right in the beak, knocking her over onto her back while Nadine simply stood there, dumbfounded. I had never once struck any of my crew, but at this point, she way deserved it. You are! Both of you! You were so desperate for sex that you were willing to hurt me just so you'd feel it was morally acceptable. I already told you I was fine with it, but no! You'd feel guilty, so you tried to make me do it first. You completely disregarded how I felt and tried to take matters into your own hands. You know how I felt about it, but you did it anyways.
What the hell? It's just sex.
Just sex? Oh, and I suppose you wouldn't be hurt at all if I decided I liked Nadine better and started spending all my time with her, and then you'd feel like a third wheel. Or maybe I should just go sleeping around with all the other Griffins on the ship like a complete scumbag and get them all pregnant. Or maybe I should just totally ignore you when you want it, but when you're not in the mood to force myself on you. You're both acting like animals, so maybe I should treat you like animals. I don't want to see either of you till you're off your estrus and can think like rational people again. She stopped to think about what I was saying, what I had said. She turned to me with sad eyes and asked,
What did you mean when we were in the room?
What did I mean? Isn't it obvious? My dad was married to a woman, and they were happy, and they had a kid. And then my dad got drunk, met my mom at a bar, they slept together, and she had me. His wife found out he was cheating on her and had a child with another woman, and kicked him to the curb, just like she's supposed to. They got a divorce, she got half his stuff, and he has to pay her alimony, as well as child support. He didn't have anywhere else to go, so he moved with a mistress so she could work to feed his alcoholism and take care of his other child, me, whom he hates because the kid robbed him of his easy ride through life with his rich businesswoman ex-wife and landed him with someone who works as a grocery store cashier. And she hates me because she could have gone somewhere with her life, but had to give all up her dreams because she got pregnant. And they hate each other because they blame each other for not getting what they wanted out of life. Do you have any idea? Any idea at all? They were constantly fighting with each other. And even though it was my fault, it was almost always because of me. And when they weren't fighting with each other, they were yelling at me. The reason I can't travel, why they can't afford nice things, why both their lives are ruined. Griff, I never asked for this. I never asked for any of it. I can't count how many times I wished I had never been born, because then the people around me wouldn't be unhappy. I know it wasn't my fault, but I was what, 5? Of course I blamed myself, and when I stopped blaming myself, I hated them for letting me, and for blaming me too. And you know why that all happened? Because of a little harmless sex. I don't care that we're different species and I probably can't get Nadine knocked up. In my mind, it's the same thing. I don't care that this world works differently, that guys have a whack of girls in a herd, a flock, or whatever you want to call it. That's who they are. It's not who I am. Now, go away. I told you once before that I love you, and because of that, I could forgive you for anything you did in your altered state of mind. But I can't forgive you till you're out of that state of mind, and I don't want to see you till your estrus is over. You both really hurt me. I'm not tired because I just woke up, but right now, I like nothing more than to just go back to sleep. I walked back into my room and laid on the bench, then channeled the air through my feathers to make a wind strong enough to close the room door where I was.
We fucked up, Gilda.
I know.
Let's just let him be.
I reached into my desk drawer and pulled out a black velvet box. I opened the box to reveal a gold bracelet with a glowing sun diamond set into it. It was engraved to say Gilda, the light of my life, in that really fancy lettering, which was actually inscribed magically by a unicorn, so whenever someone looked at the writing, it would glow and become more visible. I closed the box containing the wedding band and chucked it out my window into the ocean below. Just because I forgive doesn't mean I forget.